before we even start this conversation, do you actually eat cake? Because I eat cake and I don't look like that.
No, I stopped eating cake and I don't look like that.
You look fantastic.
Thank you. People say that all the time, but I don't eat the whole cake.
That's where you're going on.
I don't eat the whole cake, and I do exercise a lot. I get up really early and go to the gym most mornings.
Do you?
I don't want to look like you then.
4:45 alarm.
Can't be bothered.
4:45 alarm?
Yeah.
Every...
But then meditate for 20 minutes and then go to the gym.
That's where we're all going wrong.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
And you feel you have to do that every day? Is that just part of your
It's about,
daily life?
it's a real routine for me, and it's not just for the body, it's for the mind. You know, it really helps me feel good and get the day off in a good way.
Cake does that for me.
Does it? It does it for me as well, though. I love cake, but
love your book.
I try and do baking just at the weekends.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is it moderation, really? I mean, so you bake... I mean, here's your fantastic new book called Bake.
Yeah.
Good title.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, look, I used to be a model, and I think that's the reason why I stopped modelling, because I was just hungry. So I thought, what can I do that's the polar opposite? And I started
You
baking.
look like you don't eat anything anyway.
Oh, I really do. I really do.
I love your honesty in the book, though, because you do what I do. When you're making the mixture, you always go in for a dip.
Always do that.
You've got to go in for a dip.
And then you take a slice, and then you take a little bit, because a slice isn't straight enough, is it? You take another slice.
And where did this love
Till
of...
there's no cake.
Until there's no cake.
Where did this love of cake and baking come from? Who did you see baking, or...?
I used to do it at primary school. I think you did it once a year back then in the 70s. And I'd take, like, your tin with all your ingredients in, and I think it was that made me fall in love with... And I loved the mixture. It's the cake mixture that I really like. Yeah, so that's what made me fall
It's interesting, though, with the bake-off, which we know is so popular, it looks like many chefs are now doing bake.
Yeah, it's
It seems to be that. Why do you think it's just become so popular, apart from the TV thing?
I think it's about bringing people together, isn't it? It's for a special occasion or a celebration, and it's also quite therapeutic baking. I don't know if you find it therapeutic. Do you bake?
No, I find it... I love cooking and can't bake to save my life. And that's why I love
I hate
watching the
cooking,
bake-off,
I'd
because
rather
it
bake.
makes me... I feel less stress, because it's so scientific. You know, if you haven't got quite enough of the, bicarbonate of whatever, the whole thing collapses.
So you freestyle. You like
I
freestyle, yeah? Because if you freestyle, baking's not going to work out for
it's not
you.
for
You
me.
have to follow it to the letter. And a lot of people don't like doing that, but a lot of people do.
And in the book, you speak so much about your childhood, and now you reflect back, and that's the big, influence of who you are, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really... I just find it really nourishing and comforting, baking and eating.
Lisa was talking about your upbringing. I mean, not to go into the detail of it, but what I find sad, really, for you is the fact that you seem to go to many different parent situations, not like you were looked after by one set of parents or adopted by a set of parents, but you seem to be moving every couple of years. How disturbing was that for you at the time?
Well, it's funny because I think you spoke about my success, and I think I am here because of what I went through, not in spite of it. It's made me a very... Oh, thank you. Because they said, people want to start fostering. I'm like, it's not a poor me story. Honestly, I'm grateful for what I've been through. It just makes you very resilient. It makes you very appreciative, and I love connecting with people. And I think it's really important. And I think baking helps me connect with people as well, because you're making something and you're giving it, and you get the ooh when you bring it out, don't you?
It's made with love, I think.
You don't get that
really
with a
feel
stir
that if
fry.
someone has baked you a cake. No, you don't. If someone's baked you a cake, you feel that love, don't you? When somebody says,
But it's like you say in the book, you say, everyone has a christening, a birthday, a wedding, and it's that camaraderie of all coming together for that brilliant result.
Because people say, is baking a phase? It's not a phase, it's here to stay, because there's always time for cake.
Yes,
isn't there?
But did you think, as a child, because you got into baking as a child, did you see that when you baked something and you handed it to someone, was that a gift of love, or was that because you were fostered and all of that? Was that please love me?
I think, and I mean it from the bottom of the thing I loved about baking was the cake mixture. That was first and foremost. I think the deep emotional ties is also a big thing. It wasn't so much love me, it was like, look, I love the baking, the buying the ingredients, the instant gratification of making something, the magic that happens in the oven, and then eating it and sharing it with people.
You talk about connecting, this whole thing about connecting. Have you ever felt that you wanted to connect with your real parents and your birth parents?
Yes. I have, yeah.
You've done that, have you?
Yeah. I did, and it was like meeting someone at a bus stop. Like, random. Oh, hey, how are you? The weather's nice, isn't it? Yeah. So it wasn't... I didn't have any expectations, and I did it once, and I wouldn't want to do it again.
Really?
But it's like I've got my mother passed away, but I've got my parents, you know? So it was nice to see what somebody looked like.
But you didn't
who
feel
was
any more
related.
than that. Yeah.
No.
Your siblings as well, don't you?
Yeah, I have siblings, but I called like the helpline before I went, the adoption helpline. They said it's very normal to not have a connection because you basically are two strangers.
It happens a lot, and they do warn you about that, actually.
Yeah.
And the great thing is you've become an ambassador for fostering now. So
Ambassador.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think people who foster are incredible, and it's nice that you're bringing awareness about that. And you're a success story of having it coming from that childhood. But it's so lovely to see you. Thank you for cake. We will eat the chocolate cake. There's Lorraine's new book, Bake. It's fantastic. Lorraine Pascale.